Gentlemen, so here's the deal. There are just about as many tie knots out there as there are fish in the sea. Now the problem with that is there's a lot of fish in the sea. But here's the good news. The good news is most of these tie knots are either unfashionable, unstylish, or just plain out unnecessary. So today I decided to narrow it down to a list of 5. Today we're going to be going over the 5 most important tie knots that I think every man needs to know in order to become more fashionable. And if that sounds interesting to you, let's get it. Okay, so before we take a deep nose dive into these tie knots, a bit of a background story on shirt collars is pretty necessary at this point so that you and I are on the same page. Okay, so I'm not going to go over every single variation of shirt collar out there because believe you me, there's a ton. But however, I am going to go over the 3 basic shirt collars that you're probably going to see on a day-to-day basis. And these 3 shirt collars are the classic and standard point collar, the spread collar, and the cut-away collar. Okay, so if you're in possession of a point collar, you're going to want to stick to those tie knots that give you a very narrow and streamlined look because of the limitation in room between the 2 collars of a point collar. And if you have a cutaway collar, you want to stick to those tie knots that are a bit chunkier and wider so that you can fill up the large space in between the 2 collar sides. And for those of you with the spread collar, it's a little bit more of an in-between of these 2. So you are safe either with the chunky and wides or with the narrow and streamlined. Now enough of all this information. Let's now get into how you actually tie these knots with tie knot number 1, the 4 in hand. Okay, so for the 4 in hand, there are no inversions needed whatsoever. What the tie is, well, is what it is. So again, you want to make sure that the fat end is your long end and the short end is the skinny end. So you make micro adjustments depending on your height and the length of the tie once again. Okay, let us begin. So you want to grab the fat end of the tie and put it over the skinny end like this and pinch. You want to hold that fat end and take it under the skinnier end, and you want to hold this little loop formed after the 360 with your index finger. Still holding the fat end, you're going to come under the neck opening and into the loop. And there you go. The 4 in hand. Now the beauty about the 4 in hand is it's intentionally asymmetrical. So it works well for those of you who like to express their style. Okay, so the 4 in hand is a bit more of a casual knot, and because of its narrow shape, I would point it more towards those of you who own a point collar. Unfortunately, I do not own a point collar because it's not my preferred collar of choice. However, I do wear the 4 in hand with my cutaways and my widespread collars, and it works out pretty well. However, if you have a more conservative approach to your fashion, this may not be for you because, as you can see, some people don't like the fact that you can see a bit of the tie protruding through the cutaway collars, which you normally wouldn't have with a point collar because it's so narrow. However, for me, I find it to be more fashionable and expressive. Okay, now for the double 4 in hand, same setup as the 4 in hand. You want the fat end as your long end, skinny end as your short end. Make the micro adjustments and we can begin. Okay, so grab the fat end, put the fat end over the skinny end. Still holding the fat end, go under, make a 360 and back to where we started. Hold that first loop using your index finger. While still holding, go again for the second time, over and under. Now you have 2 loops. Grab the fat end, come through the neck opening and into both loops, right? And from there you pull, 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 and pull. Make a few adjustments there, make sure the shape is exactly how you want it, and there you go. That's how you do a double 4 in hand. The main difference is because of the 2 loops, you have this little, double loop action going on over here, which looks pretty stylish and pretty expressive. Okay, so you can just kind of copy and paste the rules found on the 4 in hand and apply them to the double 4 in hand, because these 2 knots are more or less the same knot, except the double 4 in hand is geared more towards those fashion veterans, those of you who've been in the game for quite a bit and are looking to distinguish themselves from the newbies. Okay, now for the Nikki Not, we're going to want to do things a little bit inverted here. So what we're going to do is we're going to turn over our ties so that the stitched end is facing where we're facing. Okay, so you're going to get the skinnier end and make sure the skinnier end is shorter than the fatter end. And as for the proportions as to how short or how long, that's going to vary depending on the height of the individual and the length of the tie. But usually about 1/3 should be enough. So you're going to grab the skinnier end, put the skinnier end over the fatter end. You're going to grab the fatter end, bring it up and above into this neck opening, and what you're going to see is you've made this little knot, right? And you're going to get the fat end and you're going to move the fat end away from the knot. So switch hands, don't get lost, and now that the fat end is on the opposite side to the knot, you're going to bring that fat end over and you're going to hold this little loop created using your index finger. You're going to come back into the neck opening and in to the loop. So now you're going to pull. You pull, pull, and you pull. And what you're going to get is a nice Nikki Not. There we go. So unlike the 4 in hand and the double 4 in hand, the Nikki Not is a bit more symmetrical than the first 2. So it's more lean towards the formal settings than the casual settings. And because the Nikki Not is a bit more widespread than the first 2, it can only go with the cutaway collar and the widespread collar. And never, ever, ever, listen to me, look at me, never go with the point collar. Ever. Now the reason I say this is because every time you try to get a big chunky tie and try to fit it into those tiny little collars of yours, first problem is it's not symmetrical. Second problem, you tend to get those flying collars that you see around where the tie is all over the neck and you have these small little collars kind of levitating on top. That's not fashionable. Now for the half Windsor, you want to make sure that the fatter end is your longer end and the skinnier end is the shorter end. Okay, make micro adjustments and we can begin. So you want to hold the fatter end, put it over the skinnier end and pinch. Hold the fatter end, bring it under and out through the neck opening and pull. You're going to form this little knot over here, and this time, unlike the Nikki Not, you're not getting the fat end to the opposite side. No, you're just gonna grab the fat end, go under the loop, make a little loop here, hold it with the index finger, come out the other end, and in we go. And there you go. That's going to be the half Windsor. So the half Windsor is more or less the same size as the Nikki Not in terms of width and size. However, where they differ is in symmetry. So when it comes to symmetry, the Nikki Not is symmetrical, whilst the half Windsor is asymmetrical. So if you're looking for something to go with your widespread collars and your cutaway collars, you still want that chunky feel and you want that asymmetrical look, you don't want to go for the 4-in-hand, the half Windsor is your best bet. Let's do it. So for the full Windsor, you want to make sure that the fat end is significantly longer than the skinnier end, which is the short end. So make the adjustments accordingly and let's begin. So you want to get the fat end over the skinnier end and pinch. You want to hold the fat end, take the fat end under and over the neck opening. And what you're going to see is you're going to have this little knot right here. Now pinch the knot and make sure you're still holding on to that skinnier end. You want to go under the knot and then in from above through the neck opening, and you're going to see that you've made a second knot that's going to lie on top of the first knot, like this. If you're doing it right, you need to have this little triangle thingy going on there. Right? From there, you're going to grab the fat end, go over this triangle, put in your index finger between to make a loop, and into the loop you go and you pull. Now the last one, but definitely not the least on my list, is the full Windsor. I like to call it the Big V. Now the Big V is definitely the widest, chunkiest and most formal of the 5 tie knots I covered today. It's a definite no-no for the point collar. It works with the widespread collar and it works with the cut-away collar. Now this tie knot screams formality, authority, responsibility and power. So if you're looking to get down to business, get yourself the V. So gentlemen, if you found this video helpful or informative in any way or form, please do drop us a like down below. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. That way you don't miss out on any of our weekly content. And for more things fashionable, keep it here on The Fashionable Man. Peace.